Green evening to everyone, and a warm welcome to all our participants, student, academic professional, and the industry expert joining us today for a special event. I am Dhanush, honored to be a host for today's event. IGEN debate series one. Now I am telling you about what is IGEN. IGEN is the Institution of Green Engineering. Green Engineering is a global platform that connects green professionals worldwide working towards the sustainable development goals to create a sustainable and greener future. Our mission to provide the innovative solution and the positive collaborative through our unique 9-color Lubgia society as a UNDSA and then NGO and then NITA and accredited institution. We are committed to driving impactful action that contributes to the environment sustainability. About the today event is a part of our ongoing effort to engage on the global issues present the IGEN debate series 1 on the UN SDG report 2024. This report evaluates the country's progress towards sustainable development and then highlights the key areas for action. For the action. This report detailed explain about the challenges the world facing in making sustainable towards achieving the SDG. The report also highlighted where action must accelerate, particularly in the critical area underpinning the SDG progress, climate change, peace and security, inequality among between the countries. Our debate unites the student, academics, and the industrial expert to discuss the report, share the knowledge, and then explore the solution. This is the valuable opportunity to deepen our understanding of SDG and contribute to the sustainable development goal. For the participant, we encourage all the participants to actively engage in the discussion through the IGEN SDG channel on YouTube, where your contributions are valuable by the participating. You also have the opportunity to receive the digital certificate acknowledge your involvement. Without delay will increase our listening panels for the event at Measure as the president of the IGEN. He has been instrumental in leading numerous initiatives and focused collaborating that drives our mission further. Please join me in welcoming Dr. to lead the today debate session.
Thank you, Dhanush. It was a very happy start today. So hope you all already traveled through the IGEN activities. So the Institution of Green Engineers connecting people across the globe for green action, and you all know that we are working for green sustainable development goals, in which we come out with a lot of actions related to that. We had several vertical. In that one vertical, we have the concept of energy saving clubs, which align with SDG 7, SDG 13, and SDG 12, responsible consumption and production. So where we have 36 energy saving clubs in India, where we are coordinating a lot of activities. And next vertical is IGEN Young Green Innovators Army, and through this Young Innovators Army, we are motivating the young school children to come out with the problem, and they will come out with the solution. And finally, we will go for the filing of patent, and presently 4 patents are filed through this Young Green Innovators Army. Appreciate Kavita ma'am. Madam is in with us. So the third vertical is the conference. We have 2-3 various conference. Very recently we had executed 24 hours, which end on 26 hours, 26 minutes. IGEN Energathon 2024. It was a very wonderful with a lot of partners across collected together, and we are coming out with another conference, Environthon. So like this kind of conferences are there. And next part we are celebrating the IGEN, that is a International Day activities. So there is a two type of international day. One is UN based international day, another national international day. So the important international day which is related to green activities, we are celebrating with competitions, actions, together like that. Next very important thing is the SDG projects. We have various SDG projects. The presently 4 projects are in action. That is Energy Double Line Challenge. That is in line with the United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs. IGEN Cycle for Green, and IGEN Talk for SDG, and IGEN Carbon Minus CO2 and Water Bank. So these are the projects under the SDG projects. Coming to today, so we thought of having the discussion and debate on the reports. So that is what we thought, and we come out with the action on debate session. So this is the first debate session today. The idea behind this debate session is the most of the students community, most of the academic community, industrial community, presently when we go for the case study, maybe we conducted a case study with all our 35 35 energy saving club student community. It states that 95 to 96% of students, they are not in a position to read any type of reports, technical reports, which I am talking about. So when we talk about the faculty, professors also, we had a feedback of 80% again. They are not aware of technical reports, UN based technical report. They are not in a position to read the technical report. Industry people, we not conducted the survey. So after this survey, we thought, why not we will be the platform, and we will be the bridge between students community, we will be the bridge between the academic faculty member community to present this report to the people. So that is the idea. So then we okay, the first thought process, then we come out with action stating that the SDG index, that is the index report 2024, very recently 2 weeks back it is released by UN, and that is what today we all are here. This session will have 3 rounds. The round 1, we have a panelist. We have totally, including me, 4 panelists. Dr. J. Balamurugan, Vice President IGEN, and Dr. Srividya Sukumar, EduGate Global from Dubai, and Dr. Lena James from Christ University. So they all together, we are going to have a first round, the discussion on the report. That is from SDG 1 to SDG 17. What all picturized in the report to be presented by all the speakers. That is what the first part. Second round, we come out with some questions, and that questions we will have a debate session. In the second round, we have the sub speakers, Professor Suresh, principal here, and that is a Earth to Date Research Foundation head CEO is here, and another 2 speakers are going to join with them. With the panelists, we are going to have a debate session in the second round, and the third round we will have a discussion. We are ready to answer for the questions which is raised by the participants. So this is what the thing. So without delay, we will go for the session. Now I would like to welcome to address goal number 8 and 9. That is recent work on economic growth, and SDG 9, very interesting, that is the industry, innovation and infrastructure. I'd like to welcome Dr. Srividya Sukumar, that is EduGate Global from Dubai. Madam, you please introduce yourself, ma'am, in brief, so that audience all know about you. Then you can continue with the questions.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Ramesh. Thank you, Balamurugan sir, for giving this wonderful opportunity to talk about the SDGs. And yeah, basically I'm an entrepreneur living in UAE, and we do education management systems with audit reports and the remedial measures, and also restoration processes which are involved in it. And also we go to ahead with the restoration process with in the form of training and also career pathways, such that we are able to satisfy the needs of the clients and the stakeholders. Something very what we feel about governance complaints of and also about education complaints when it comes to the reporting processes which are involved in it with the local stakeholders. Thank you so much. Well, coming to the point of decent work and economic growth. This is something which is very close to every one of us. As such, I would say that because, in the sense, like it all talks about, we are able to relate much closer to this because it's a day-to-day activity that we're talking about, and SDG is more or less, when we talk about it, it is more related to everyday life. So, achieving SDG 8 in Asia that demands businesses to end exploitative labor. Why do I use the word exploitative labor? It's something which is very crucial, which the world has started looking into it these days with the practices that are being involved in it, especially in industries relying on the informal sector. That is, it relates more to the net zero aspect of it, with the net zero targets when it comes to the economic growth. And when we talk about the net zero targets also, it is kind of thing that a few things that we would like to take it forward when we talk about the overview of SDG 8. Promote sustained, inclusive, sustainable economic growth. This is the actual target which was given to SDG 8, with full and productive employment and decent work for all. Where the key objectives that the countries are asked to work on is the sustained economic growth. That's the first line that is talking about in the goal factor. Achieve higher levels of economic productivity through diversification. Means if something is not suiting, you can diversify your line with the technological upgrading and the skills and the innovation. So you will be able to attain sustained economic growth, keeping in par with the requisite qualities and the skills which are required to upgrade yourself to be in the market trends. Then, when it comes to the sustained economic growth, then the second point which comes in red is that inclusive economic growth. That is to promote inclusive and sustainable economic growth, reducing inequalities. In this, we will reduce the inequalities and ensure that benefits go to all segments of the society. That means we are going to include everybody, forgetting all the differences of caste, creed, the levels of labor, etc., etc., etc. So, when we are able to satisfy the sustained economic growth with the inclusive economic growth system, we will be able to achieve employment and decent work. We will be able to create quality jobs and ensure safe and secure working environments for all workers, including women, youth, and those in precarious employment. With the youth employment, substantially reduce the proportion of the youth not in the employment, education, or training. And also, not forgetting on the labor rights, to protect the labor rights and promote safe and secure working environments for our workers, including the migrant workers in different countries, those who are in a precarious environment. At the outset, in the 2024 Sustainable Goals report highlights mixed progresses towards achieving SDG 8, which aims to promote sustained, inclusive, and sustainable economic growth with full and productive employment and decent work for all. So the key insights from the report are as we can see there, with the COVID as an aftermath, there is disparities in the growth that we can see very well in the graph, very clearly mentioned with the countries, which are very clearly mentioned with the difference in the countries. We can see the huge differences in the vulnerable nations as they are experiencing decelerated GDP growth per capita, leading to the heightened economic inequalities. So, how to address or how to satisfy or how to combat with these disparities in the growth which are being prevalent in the vulnerable nation, that has been set as the first target for all the countries. So when it's such a case, why does it even arise? Why the situation arises that the challenges which are in the job creation, the progresses which are in the job creation, people are, as we know, people are all engaged in different kinds of work without knowing exactly what is being the trend. As we know, the main thing is which comes to our mind is the AI. Are we AI competent? So if there is an incompetency which is being consistently prevailing in that, necessitating the support in several regions to facilitate the provision of the visible employment opportunities, such that we will be able to inculcate skills which are there, and people will be able to imbibe all those competencies and prove and work for economic volatility. In the sense, persistent global economic trends and uncertainties continue to impede the realization of the SDG targets. So these are the three major threats that we can see, which has been listed in the first three paragraphs. That is, disparities in the growth and challenges in the job creation and economic volatility. So our key takeaways from these include that many of the most vulnerable countries that we can see in the graph very clearly are experiencing slower per capita GDP growth compared to the advanced economies. So some of the examples that we can always look into it, and so that the employment and the decent work in progress remains uneven in these countries, with significant challenges in creating sufficient and decent jobs which are available for all the cadres. So thereby it is affecting the global economic trends with ongoing economic uncertainties and inequalities that are impacting the achievement of the targets under SDG 8. So when we do this, exactly what all things that we should keep in mind is that when we talk about the SDG 8, if I'm allowed, I can just give you the briefing of it. Over the whole report shows the progress of the past 25 years. Number of workers who have been living in the extreme poverty has declined dramatically despite the lasting impact of 2008. See that we can see the graph which is moving from 2008 economic crisis and the global recession part of it, which is not compromised at all. And in the developing countries, the middle class now is able to make a 34% of the total employment, and the number has almost tripled from 1991 to 2015. That's what the graph shows. However, as the global economy continues to recover, as we are seeing the slower growth, widening inequalities, and also not enough jobs to keep up the global growing labor force, according to the Internal Labour Organization, more than 204 million people were unemployed in the year 2015. So from there, we are trying to make the progress. So the SDGs promote, SDG 8 is targeted to promote sustained economic growth with higher levels of productivity and technological innovation. So technological innovation is the one which is going to be the stress area, or which is going to be the target, which is the key target which is being stressed over there. Encouraging for entrepreneurship and job creation are the effective measures to eradicate the forced labor or the slavery or the human trafficking, which are the threats which are being prevalent in the vulnerable countries. With these targets in mind, the goal is set to achieve the full potential and productive employment and decent work for all men and women by 2030. So moving ahead, like with this, so far now, what certain statistics which we can take from the report is that 5%, as it is estimated, 172 million people worldwide were without work in 2018, an employment rate of 5%. From there, it has been gradually moving, and as a result of the expanding labor force, the number of unemployed is projected to increase by 1 million every year and to reach 174 by 2020. And by about, again, moving ahead with 700 million, some of the million workers lived in the extreme and moderate poverty in 2018 with less than US dollar of 3.20 per day. So this is again set as a target, saying that at least they should be able to get at least $5 per day. So moving ahead, like with again coming to the gender equality, women participation in the labor stood as a 48% in the 2018, when it compares to the 75% for men. Around 3 in 5 of 3.5 billion people in the labor force in 2018 were men, and overall 2 billion were informed unemployment in accounting for the worlds. That is what is the required. So when it's such a case, what are the restorative measures that are given as the goal targets is that sustained per capita economic growth in accordance with the national circumstances, and in particular at least 7% of the gross domestic product growth, that is global GDP per annum in the least developed countries. So And moving ahead, achieve high levels of economic productivity through diversification. Now, how this can be, global GDP can be achieved. Sorry, I'm going to the previous point because how this can be achieved, because people should start, that is why the stress of MSMEs and SMEs come into action. That is, people should starting their own businesses, their own startups, such that they are all able to work on their own businesses, make their own business, and they become entrepreneurs, such that each one will be able to contribute to this global GDP factor which is being involved, though at a national level and later on to the international level. So when we do this, we will be able to achieve higher level of economic productivity through diversification and technological upgrading and the innovation, including through a focus of high value added and labor intensive sectors. So moving ahead, what is actually required at the national and the international level, that's what is addressed in the third part of it, is that promote development of oriented policies that will support productive activities, decent job creation, entrepreneurship, creative and innovation, and encourage formalization at the growth of micro and macro and medium-sized enterprises, including access to all the financial services which are being involved. So thereby, we will be able to improve progressively through 2030 with the global resource efficiency in consumption and production of the endeavor to decouple the economic growth from the environmental degradation in accordance with the 10-year framework of the programs of sustainable consumption and the production which is being therein, with the developed countries taking the lead. Very importantly, with the developed countries taking the lead. As Dr. Ramesh was mentioning, if anything which is being very good in the other country, we will be able to borrow the systems from them, their assistance from them, such that we will be able to help the people, the vulnerable countries which are trying to make the progress, which are trying to really combat the situation. So by 2030, we will be able to achieve the full and productive employment and decent work for all men and women, including for young people and persons with disabilities, and equal pay for all work with the equal value. By 2020, sustainability reduce proportion of the youth not in employment, education, or training. So such that we will be able to see the difference. And for doing this, we'll have to take immediate and effective measures to eradicate forced labor and modern slavery and the human trafficking, and secure prohibition and the elimination of the worst forms of child labor, including the recruitment of use of child soldiers, and by 2025 and the child labor in all its forms. So I think many countries like India has been following these systems and they are in place. Especially people are highlighting more about certain countries from Africa that child labor is being a part of it, that we all know very well. But still, how to really get out of this situation is what we need to work on as we are as educators or as moderators and as thinkers about the sustainability solutions. We need to work on policies such that we are not compromising on the some children are even breadwinners in those countries. So in that case, we need to help them to earn their income, but also not to compromise on their studies even. So protect labor rights and also education rights, such that we will be able to promote safe and secure working environments for all the workers, including the migrant workers, in particularly the women migrant workers, those in the precarious employment. By 2030, devise and implement policies to promote sustainable tourism that can create jobs and promote local cultural products. Strengthen the capacity of the domestic financial institutions to encourage, expand access in banking, to banking, insurance, and financial services for all. Every time when we talk about banking, is that when we talk about banking systems, these days, how to the people becoming techno-savvy and the use of technological advancement in daily life has become the real walk of life, such that people are forced to learn about certain things, these things, such that they should at least have a bank account for themselves to have free access to all these monetary benefits or the monetization processes which are being involved in it. So strengthening the capacity of the domestic financial institutions to expand access to banking and the insurance and the financial services for all is again a key parameter that we need to work on. So last but not the least, the increase the aid for the trade and support for all the developing countries, in particular to the least developed countries, including enhanced integrated framework for trade-related technical assistance to the least developed countries. So it's like a barter system that has been prevalent in all the trading through the years, through and through. As such, we should go on with that. At least if people are not able to buy the goods from that, at least there should be an exchange of goods that should be really welcomed, so that people will be able to work on it. So by 2030, we'll be able to develop and operationalize a global strategy for all the group youth employment and implement the Jobs Pact of International Labour Organization. So if we are going to work on all these restorative practices, definitely we'll be able to achieve the main motto or the objective or the rationale, whichever way that we take it, of SDG 8. So that's what has been really summarized in the whole report as such as we see. And moving ahead, if we talk about our next goal is that goal number 9, industry, innovation, and infrastructure. This is again following suit with exactly what is mentioning. That is, what is the key important is that the global manufacturing, which shows the slow growth and the global shares in the manufacturing employment declines. So this is another key concern of the SDG which is being mentioned. That is the SDG 9, which we are talking about, industry, innovation, and infrastructure. And again, it is a very key thing when it comes to the global economic contribution, because investment in the infrastructure and innovation are the crucial drivers of the economic growth and the development. With over half of the world population now living in cities, mass transport and the renewable energy are becoming even more important as they are with the growth of the new industries and the information, the communication technologies. So the technological process is also the key to finding the lasting solutions to both economic and the environmental challenges, which are so prevalent. As we can see the statistical data which has been given as a comparative study between the countries, such as providing new jobs and providing energy efficiency and providing sustainable industries and investing in the scientific research and innovation projects, and all are important to facilitate the sustainable development. More than 4 billion people still do not have access to the internet. That's the actual fact. And 90% are from the developing world. Bridging this digital division is crucial to ensure equal access to information and knowledge, as well as foster the innovation and entrepreneurship. Hope everybody will agree with me. Everything is there in the internet. If we don't have an access to how to access the data which is there, what is the use for it? So to make people being accessible to the information which is there in the internet is something which we need to work on. That's what is the basic criteria for the industrialization. That is what is being talked about. So 2.3 billion people of the worldwide lack access to the basic sanitation. 40% in about low-income African countries, infrastructure constraints cut businesses' productivity by around 40%. 2.6 billion in developing countries do not have access to constant electricity, as Balamurugan sir was mentioning. And more than 4 billion people still do not have access to the internet. And 90% of them are all from the developing world. Developing world, not developed one or emerging there. They are still developing. So the renewable sectors currently, more than 2.3 people are with just reaching of the 20 million target which has been set. So when it comes to the goals targets or the key takeaways that we are talking about when it comes to the SDG 9, is that the key insights of the goal with the industry and the innovation structure is to develop quality, resilient infrastructure. What do we mean by that? Quality, resilient infrastructure is that we aim to develop quality, reliable, sustainable, resilient infrastructure, providing the basic needs which is for the regional and the trans-border infrastructure to support economic development and human well-being, with a focus on affordable and equitable access for all. So to achieve this, such a big infrastructure that we're talking about, regional trans-border infrastructure with economic development and the human well-being and with equitable access for all. What is the first key thing is that being stressed in our goal, key takeaways is that promote sustainable industrialization. That the goal is to promote inclusive and sustainable industrialization by 2030, significantly raise the industry's share of employment and GDP, the gross domestic product, in line with the national circumstances, and double its share in the least developed countries. So, and the key thing is that which nobody should compromise is double its share in the least developed countries. That is, in countries I'm not purposely taking names of certain countries because this is a universal forum, this is a global forum where people should not get offended. That's why I'm not taking the name of the country. Sorry about it. And second pointer is that to foster innovation. Goal 9 seeks to enhance scientific research, upgrade technological capacities of the industrial sectors in all the countries, in particular developing countries, including by 2030. Thereby encouraging innovation and sustainability, increasing the number of research and development projects like us. What we are doing today is the research work. Keep talking about it. It's like sharing best practices, sharing knowledge, such that the workers per 1 million people and the public-private research development is spending. So this is what is the thing that we need to work on to foster innovation. Third parameter is that to increase access to ICT and internet. A key target that is to significantly increase the access to information, the communication technology, and to strive to provide the universal and affordable access to the internet in at least the developed countries by 2030. Such that support developing countries. Goal 9 emphasizes that the need to facilitate sustainable and resilient infrastructure development in developing countries through enhanced financial, technological, and technical support to African countries and least developed countries with the landlocked developed countries and small island developing states, etc., etc., etc. So these are the states, these are the areas that we need to work on. And while doing this, adopt clean technologies. That means, as Dr. Ramesh was mentioning, data handling is the key thing. As we know, this is a very crucial thing that people are it's very good. It's more like a science. Science is too good and science is always returning. It's more like a knife. So when you have the data, adopt clean technologies by 2030, aim to upgrade infrastructure and retrofit the industries to make them sustainable with increased resource efficiency, with proper data handling systems and greater adoption to the clean environments and sound technologies and industrial processes with the cyber check and sustainability which is being involved in this process. In summary, this Goal 9 is focused on building resilient infrastructure, promoting inclusive and sustainable industrialization, and fostering innovation with a particular emphasis on supporting developing countries and adopting clean technologies. So our key takeaways when it comes to the industry innovation infrastructure from SDG 2024 SDG report is that develop quality resilient infrastructure. This is the basic thing, such that we will be able to include regional and trans-border to support economic development and human well-being with a focus on affordable and equitable access for all. Promote sustainable industrialization, foster innovation, increase access to ICT internet, and support developing countries and adopt clean technologies.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for presenting the SDG 8 and 9 about the present status and how we can able to achieve that before 2030. Now I would like to invite Dr. Srividya for SDG 11, Sustainable Cities and Communities. Ma'am, we can make it like within 2 minutes we'll go, ma'am. Already it is 8:45, so that we can conclude it and then we will go for the next round for the debate discussion.
Please
Sure.
unmute.
Well noted, sir. Well noted. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. So, sustainable cities and communities. So, in the broad sense, like what does sustainability mean? It's the ability to maintain and support a process that is continuously over time. So, it's not going to happen in a day or two or in the near future. It will grow. It will just happen gradually. So, that is what is the whole thing that we need to look into when we talk about sustainable cities. And moving ahead, the goal of sustainable cities and communities is that what does it main thing is talking about is that by 2050, 2/3 of all humanity, that is 6.5 billion people, will be urban. That is more than half of us live in cities, though. Sustainable development cannot be achieved without significantly transforming the way we build and manage our urban spaces. So it's basically related to the process of urbanization. So the rapid growth of the cities result in raising population and increasing migration. That has led to the boom of the megacities that we have seen, especially in the developing world, and the slums that are becoming more significant. That is a significant feature of the urban life. So moving ahead, the making cities sustainable means creating career and business opportunities that have been discussed through, and becoming safe with safe and affordable housing and building resilient societies and economies. It involves investment in public transport, creating green public spaces, and improving urban planning and management in participatory and inclusive ways. So when it comes to that, going through from the year 2018, 4.2 billion people, that's what is the target that we have looked into. That is 55% of the world population lived in cities. By 2050, the urban population is expected to reach 6.5 billion. And cities occupy just 3% of the Earth's land, but account for 60 to 80% of the energy consumption and at least 70% of the carbon emissions. And third point, which is again very crucial, is 828 million people are estimated to live in slums, and the numbers are keep on rising. So in 1990, there were about 10 cities that with 10 million people or more. By 2014, the number of the megacities rose to 28, means 28 million, and was expected to reach 33 by 2018. In future, 9 out of the megacities will be in the developing world. So with all these things, what we need to sum up is that what we are here to sum up with the sustainable cities and the communities is that, sorry, our intention is not to give you an alarming picture, but still, this is what is the actual key factor that we need to look into when we talk about sustainable cities and communities. So the first point is that urbanization and the sprawl cities are sprawling faster than the densifying. By between 2000 and 2020, the cities have expanded to 3.7 times faster than densified, with a global sprawl averaging 5.6% annually compared to only 1.5 densification. So, balancing sustainable development by 2030 will require consistent effort to curb urban sprawl at the local, subnational, national, and international levels. So that's what is the thing. And access to public spaces and services is a key thing. Again, the third point which is being stressed is that access to open public spaces is notably deficient in the least developed countries, that is LCDs, where fewer than 3 in 10 people can conveniently reach such areas. So transport is becoming a problem. So we need to work on the transport affordability also. In high performing regions like countries like Australia, New Zealand, North America, and Europe, approximately 6 to 7 out of 10 urban residents enjoy convenient access to open public spaces. As we know, the fastest trains, the metro trains, which are being so common, the trams, which are so common in these countries, that has to be made prevalent and made available to the people who are there in the vulnerable countries or the other countries, that the emerging countries that we are talking about. So disaster resilience, when it comes to on an average of 104,049 critical infrastructure units and facilities were destroyed and damaged by disasters annually from 2015 to 2022. That we know exactly with the earthquakes and other things. So disasters also to be disrupted over 1.6 million basic services, including education and health services each year. So the restoration processes have to be proactively thought and be kept as a safety measure which are being there. So, however, the low-level risk governance has improved in the recent years, with about 106 countries cumulatively reporting to have local disaster risk reduction systems in place and in line with the national strategy. So, this is something which is so satisfying. And again, when it comes to that, apart from these things, when it comes to the water pollution, air quality improvement has become a very key challenge, a very big challenge when it comes to the pollution on a 5-year average before and after development of the SDGs, showing a significant decrease, 9% decrease in the fine particulate matter in the global levels, aligning with the World Health Organization air quality guidelines, which is being given in the interim target value of 35 UGM3. So air quality improvement is again one of the parameters that we need to work when we talk about sustainable cities and communities. Then investment and financing, when it comes to that, the most recent and general investment figures for SDG 11 are from 2015 only, registering for about $150 billion in overall funding. The three biggest official development assistance, that is ODA investors to SDG related activities, were Japan, US, and the World Bank, only these countries. So we need to pull in the other countries who can really come and forward with all the contribution. So as of today, there are about 7 public exchange trade funds that has come up, that is ETF, Exchange Trade Funds means ETF, that is focused on sustainable cities and communities, totaling to 663 millions in assets under management, USD, with AUM geographically, 47% of the SDG 11 investment comes from the US, followed by Japan with 10%, Sweden with 6.27%, the UK with 6.18%, and Canada with 5.62%. Thank you so much. With that, I need to conclude my key takeaways from the report, and maybe we'll catch on with the rest. Thank you. Can I continue, sir?
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
So I would like to invite Lina, ma'am.
Yeah.
To report on the responsible consumption and production SDG program. And I would like to invite Dr. Srividya to conclude with goal number 16 and 17. Dr. Srividya?
Hello.
Yes, you can continue and conclude with 16 and 17.
16 and 17. Okay, sir. Thank you. So next, moving ahead, SDG 16 is on peace, justice, and strong institutions. That is, as we all know, SDG 16 is a critical enabler and accelerator for achieving the entire 2030 agenda, as it addresses the foundational issues of promoting peaceful and inclusive societies, providing access to justice, and building effective institutions. So the progress challenges is that as of 2023, only 15% of SDGs were on track to meet the targets by 2030, with SDG falling severely off track. SDG 16 falling severely off track. There have been reverses across the board on targets related to peace, justice, and inclusions, especially in crisis settings. So the power dynamics and the governance power dynamics are at the heart of emerging trends on SDG 16, including the relationship between the citizens and the state and the different arms of the government, state and non-state actors, and the states globally. So the pandemic has accelerated some authoritarian trends and has been used to undermine dissent and target human rights defenders and erode oversight institutions. So inequality and exclusion, equality and social exclusion have increased due to the policy decisions and have disenfranchised targeted communities, reduced social protection and enabled corruption and promoted political fragmentation. All these things are the actual matter of facts and hardships that has been prevalent. So digital opportunities and risks, the rapid move on online spaces during the pandemic has highlighted the potential use of digitalization to improve transparency and access, but also the risk of misinformation and targeting on opposition and civil society and reinforcing on the digital divide. So in summary, the key insights of the highlight of the critical role of SDG 16 as enabler has significant challenges in making progresses and importance of addressing the power dynamics of the government issues, raising inequality and exclusion and the dual-edged nature of digitalization, all which must be urgently addressed to achieve peaceful, just and inclusive societies by 2030. So, restorative practices that we can implement is that significantly reduce all forms of violence and related death rates everywhere. Second is that end abuse, exploitation, trafficking, and all forms of violence against the thoughts of children. Promote rule of law at national and international levels and ensure equal access to justice for all. By 2030, significantly reduce illicit financial arm flows, strengthen the recovery and return of stolen assets, and combat all forms of organized crimes. As we can see, the heritage flows which are coming and being prevalent as such with all significance. Substantially reduce corruption and bribery in all the forms and develop effective and accountable transparent institutions at all levels. Ensure responsive, inclusive, participatory and representative decision making at all levels. Broaden and strengthen the participation of developing countries in the institutions of the global governance. By 2030, provide legal identity for all, including the birth registration. Ensure that public access to information and protect fundamental freedoms in accordance with the national legislation and international agreements. Strengthen relevant national institutions, including through the international cooperation and building capacity at all levels, in particularly in developing countries to prevent violence and combat terrorism and crime. Promote, enforce non-discriminatory laws and policies for all the sustainable development. So, moving ahead, our next goal is SDG 17, Partnership for the Goals. This is a very key goal as it summarizes the whole thought of SDG 1 to 16 throughout. So the importance of partnership is the one that really makes it happen. It is like Make in India. Make it a SDG is this SDG 17. So it is the importance of partnerships. Achieving the ambitious 2030 agenda requires that we revitalize and enhance global partnership that brings together all the governments, civil societies, and the private sectors and the UN and other stakeholders to mobilize all available resources. So collaboration versus cooperation and coordination. So see all the C's together. Collaboration, cooperation, coordination. SDG 7 does not clearly distinguish, though it does not distinguish between the cooperation, coordination, collaboration, representing the ascending levels of relationship and interdependence. But still, this has to be there. Collaborate, cooperate, and coordinate. For a more nuanced understanding of these concepts will really help us to reach the SDG 17 rational. So, when we talk about collaborative advantages and inertia, while the mainstream research emphasizes on the positive aspects of the collaboration, such as transformation, innovation, and the beneficial outcomes, and the theory of collaborative exchanging ideas, exchanging knowledge, exchanging best practices, highlights the need and considered to be the ambiguities and complexities and tensions involved. As such, we have to really tailor-make it, modify it to the local community requirements or the parameters or the expectations. So the key collaborative elements include the important elements to consider in SDG 17, that is power relations, trust, goal management, organization cultures, and the leadership. Very importantly, these all things which we cannot compromise on, such that people will be able to work together. Addressing these can help in raising awareness of the challenges in achieving the effective collaboration with the Green Keys contribution. The Green Key as a global sustainable tourism program contributes to SDG 17 through its multi-stakeholder partnerships, independent decision making, engagement with the local communities, and the provision of the reliable sustainability data. That is why we could see all the leaders, all the people moving ahead, going to different countries, learning different cultures, patronizing different cultures, accepting all differences, and working in collaboration, working in congenial way, so such that they are all falling into this track of SDG 17. In summary, these key insights of highlight the critical importance of partnership, collaboration for achieving the 2030 agenda, the need for more nuanced understanding of the different levels of partnership, and the importance of addressing the complex dynamics which are involved in this effective cooperation. When it is such a case, what has to be worked on with that as a restoration process is when it comes to the finance. The first category is that of finance. Strengthen the domestic resource mobilization, including international support to developing countries to improve domestic capacity for tax and other revenue collection. So this is the first key thing when it comes to the finance part of it. Develop countries to implement fully their official development assistance commitments, including the commitment by many developed countries to achieve the target of 0.7% of ODA per GNI to developing countries and 0.15 to 0.20% of ODA per GNI to the least development countries of ODA. The ODA providers are encouraged to consider setting a target to provide at least 0.20% to the least developed countries. So this is the key thing that we need to work on, that the countries have to work on. Third is that while doing this, mobilize additional financial resources for the developing countries from multiple sources. Assist developing countries in attaining the long-term debt sustainability through coordinated policies aimed at fostering debt financing, debt relief, and debt restructuring as appropriate, and address the external debt of highly indebted poor countries to reduce debt distress. Adopt, implement investment promotion regimes for all the least developed countries. So when it comes to the finance, these are the main things that we need to work on. That is the tax or the monetization of the process which are being involved in it, resource mobilization, and also taking it forward from the developed countries to the underdeveloped countries, which the targets are being given. So second parameter is the technology. Enhance North, South, and triangular regional and international cooperation and access to the science, technology, and innovation, enhancing knowledge sharing on mutual agreed terms, including improved coordination among the existing mechanisms, in particular at the United Nations level through the Global Technology Facilitation Mechanism. That is why what all things that we are sharing here, it has to reach wherever it has to reach, and then only it will be it reaches rational. Promote development and transfer, dissemination and diffusion of the environmental sound technologies to developed countries on favorable terms, including the concessional and preferential terms as mutually agreed. Fully operationalize the technology bank and science and technology and innovation capacity building mechanism for the least developed countries and enhance the use of enabling technology, in particular the information and communication technology, such that we are all in par with the same level and we are able to communicate further. So capacity building, enhance the international support for implementing effective targeted capacity building in developing countries to support national plans to implement all sustainable developmental goals, including the North-South with the triangle cooperation by developing the green skills which are going to be the future of the world. So when it comes to capacity building, instead of just going to the proper conventional way of studies or the schooling or the educational pathway, move on to the green skills such that people will be able to work for their life and life for the worker. As such that the fourth parameter is the trade. Promote universal rule-based, open, non-discriminatory and equitable multilateral trading system under World Trade Organization, including through the conclusion of the negotiation under its Doha Development Agenda. Significantly increase the exports of the developing countries, in particular with the view of doubling the least developed countries' share with the global exports by 2020. realize the timely implementation of the duty-free and the quota-free market access on a lasting for a least developed countries, consistent with the World Trade Organization decisions, including by ensuring that preferential rule of the origin applicable to the imports from the least developed countries are transparent and simply contribute to the facilitating the market access. When we do this restoration process, there are certain systemic issues that we will be facing. So addressing those issues, policy and institutional coherence comes in the first place. Enhance global macroeconomic stability, including the policy coordination and policy coherence, such that a global policy that has to be established, that has to be generated, that has to be established, that has to be mandated for people to follow when it comes to the trade part of it, the exports and imports, and enhance policy coherence for sustainable development, respecting all the 17 SDG goals that has been delivered as adopted by UNESCO. Respect each country's policy space and leadership to establish and implement policies for poverty eradication and sustainable development. So when we work on these systemic issues, what is the key thing which comes in the next place in the flow of progress is the multi-stakeholder partnership. Enhance global partnership for sustainable development, complemented by the multi-stakeholder partnership that mobilizes the share of knowledge, expertise, technology, financial resources to support the achievement of the sustainable development goals in all countries, particularly the developing countries. So we should give a big pat to IGEN for conducting such a session, that we are already working on this particular line of developing global partnership, complementing the multi-stakeholder partnership by sharing knowledge that we are doing today. Thank you. So thanks for your great effort. Encourage and promote effective public-private civil society partnerships, building on experiencing resourcing strategies on partnerships, such that it doesn't end on this dais, on this fora of exactly sharing knowledge. It has been taken out, and the implementation process that we have seen, as Dr. Ramesh was mentioning in the beginning of the session. So last but not the least, the data monitoring and accountability. Dr. Balamurugan was mentioning by 2030, enhance capacity building, support to developing countries, including the least developed countries and the small island developing states, to increase significantly the availability of the high quality, timely, reliable data disaggregated by income, gender, age, race, ethnicity, migratory status, disability, geographical location, other characteristics, etc. Irrespective of all this fact, let's work on this data monitoring and data handling with accountability, on the basis of trust and congeniality, which is being prevalent there. So by 2030, building on existing initiatives, develop measurements of progress of sustainable development that will complement the gross domestic product, that is GDP, and support statistical capacity building in all the developing countries. To conclude, not a single SDG is on track to be fully achieved by 2030. If current trends continue, the goals are going to be highly ambitious and will require accelerated process in many areas. Some of the most off-track SDGs, including ending poverty in all its forms everywhere, that is Goal 1, achieving food security and improved nutrition, that is Goal 2, ensuring access for affordable, reliable and sustainable and modern energy for all, that's Goal 7. Regions like African continents and South Asian face greatest challenges in achieving the SDGs by 2030 due to the highest poverty levels, conflict and other developmental barriers which the countries are facing. So to make SDG achievable by 2030, so what are the key things that people have to work on, countries have to work on, is mobilize resources and strengthen partnership, ensure significant mobilization of the resources from variety sources, including enhanced development cooperation to provide adequate means of developing countries to implement SDG programs, facilitate orderly, safe, regular, responsive migration and mobility of people, and encourage official development assistance and foreign direct investment to countries most in need, to improve data monitoring, strengthen the capacity of the national statistical officers and data systems, to ensure access to highly qualified disaggregated data to track SDG progress, conduct regular and inclusive reviews of the SDG progress at national, regional and global levels, accelerate implementation through national action, encourage all countries to develop ambitious national responses and implementation plans for SDG, building on existing development strategies, promote transparent and account scaling up of the public-private cooperation to support SDG achievement, address specific goal challenges, prioritize accelerate process on the most off-track SDGs like poverty, hunger, energy saving, access through targeted interventions. Provide extra support to the regions facing the greatest challenges such as sub-Saharan, African and South Asian countries. So in summary, achieving the great SDGs by 2030 will require a concerted global effort to mobilize resources, improve data and monitoring, accelerate national implementation and address specific challenges facing the most off-track goals of the region. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Because of this SDG 17 partnership only, we all are here. Rightly pointed out, 2 years before there is no connectivity between you and IGEN, and today we all are here because of SDG 17. Thank you all. Since there is a very already time is the 9:30, so we will be moving. So very happy that all the participants. I think the complete report now we had run through with the complete data. So hope you all able to understood the process of the report. Maybe in future also you can able to go through our live videos. You can able to understood without reading the report. Without reading the report, by watching the video, all the students, community, academic professionals, industry professionals can able to enlighten all the information. That is our idea. And now we like to invite Professor Suresh, Principal. Sir is waiting long time with us. Sir, I will have a question for you. Among the accessible target, only 17% on track. Can it is possible to achieve other 83% before 2030, sir? Suresh, sir?
Yeah.
Good
evening, all.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, sir. Actually, it was very nice, very enlightening talk. Actually, I'm very happy that not only gender equality in words, but a lot of learned women have spoken. And very happy to see that we are growing. Only thing is, we are going by numbers. It's time that you see you are doing your bit as a part of this global society. Everybody is contributing to SDG. We are creating awareness. Now this is like statistics being told that 17% of the targets are met, and what about the rest? And we are going slow. But I would like to tell, only because of COVID, the world went back. Otherwise, the world was growing slowly. And whatever this disparity between developed and developing or underdeveloped nations was prevailing that time also. Only the awareness about SDGs have come lately. Earlier it was called Millennium Development Goals, and thereafter in 2003 they introduced this term called as Sustainable Development Goals. It is good that we are all growing, and this awareness basically quality of education also one of the goals. I think SDG number 4. People are speaking of quality education. Only because of education, I think we can empower people, and these disparities will shrink over a period of time. So I am of the opinion that this whatever target we should achieve, we have set for ourselves over a period of time due to education. See, one thing I would like to add here is there is something called ESG. I think you might have all heard of ESG. All this funding, and I was hearing that madam also. Who is going to fund this SDG activities and all? Now, if you look at this, all major companies in the world, there is something as ESG rating. The environment, society, as well as governance is looked into. So, all the big corporates, the investment planning is being done so that the companies globally become more responsible towards the environment, society, as well as have good governance. So, I think with a positive note, we should let us be more positive and think that we have taken steps in the right direction, and over a period of time, I had an educational institution, engineering college, but I can tell you, if you give it some 2 minutes, I can tell you, we have initiated a lot of measures. What I had done, as an institution head, what we have done to educate people and how to implement, we have done. It is not speaking what we have implemented, and recently we had our NAC accreditation PAT visit also. They appreciated, he initiated a lot of steps in this direction. Even in our college, I have put this SDG posters. And I'm happy to share that global accreditation like ABET, Accreditation Board of Engineering and Technology USA, as well as in India, you have got National Board of Accreditation and NAC, National Assessment and Accreditation Council. Everybody is serious about this SDG. We have got a Google Developer Students Club, wherein students do the activities of coding and all. Even Google is now serious about seeing that these SDGs are being attained. They have given the problems to the students to come up with solutions for this universal goals. So let us be more optimistic. A lot of activities have been done. Like we have colleges are now implementing solar. It is better. It is the mandate given by accreditation bodies or the even statutory bodies like AICT, UGC, and all that. You go for net zero now. Don't go try to consume energy. Institutions should be self-reliant and they should tap in the renewable energy. We have installed like biogas plant, energy conservation is being done, NSS activities are being here. We are educating people. We have conducted a national conference with our affiliate university, that is Shivaji University, Kolhapur. There are 65 papers were published, and it was an SDG and Industry 5.0. A lot of research is being done, and we have a clean and green campus. Long green land trees are there. A lot of water conservation measures are being done. Green audits are being conducted. Energy audits are being conducted, and we are trying to become a paperless office. And now, because of accreditation, the quality of education is improving. So definitely, the awareness about this SDGs will increase. The governance is being improved, and our students are being taken to trips to actually various places. There in the forest, there is something called Devrai. Dev means God. Devrai forest. The forest is reserved for God, where you have got this Ayurvedic plants, so that these plants are used for the production of medicines and all. So we have to promote sustainable tourism also. I got some few thoughts, very strong thoughts. Basically, we are all this world over. Basically, India is leading. We say that Vasudev, the world is one family. If that is the thought, India has already introduced National Education Policy 2020, and we are all working towards that. Now that is being implemented. So we are trying to enforce Indian values like universal human values, Indian knowledge system, and all. With this aspiration, whatever this development people was, the materialistic development has taken place, and India is also aping the West for the last 2-3 decades. This has to come down. This materialistic consumption, responsible production and consumption are already one of the goals. So we need to see that we are just competing without any proper agenda. So we should be focused, committed to the nature, and we should live in harmony with the nature. So I think a lot of awareness is happening. LED lights are being implemented everywhere. BLDC fans are into picture. LED screen monitors are come into picture. And daylighting of classrooms is there. All star-related equipment like fridge, TV, ACs are all being used. So a lot of things are being done in all the educational institutions. And happy to see that even Mercedes brand Adidas also I got a pair of shoes. That shoes also there is a recycled plastic there. Even at a Mercedes Benz, such a big company, they are also using recycled plastic in their high-end luxury cars. So I think good things are happening. India is also promoting CNG. I think earlier it was LPG, now it is CNG and electrical. So this pollution emissions are also being reduced. So a lot of things are happening. I think let us be more positive. Even this government of India, UGC has taken up training of teachers. Actually, Madan Malviya Mission of National Teachers Training. So 15 to 20 lakh teachers are being trained on this national education policy, and I'm very sure that this awareness about one world, one humanity, and we will try to inculcate some good values among the younger generation. Basically, even the Supreme Court has introduced a mandatory subject of environmental studies in schools as well as colleges, and that is being implemented. But now the question is, what degree of seriousness it is being implemented? A lot of projects are being done on environment and all. So I hope that in days to come, this country and this world will move forward towards the SDG. And I am very happy that the world is now seriously, people like you who have taken up the initiative. Hats off to those people, and hats off to the ladies who spoke so nicely. A lot of thought is going on to this. We need to conduct a lot of research. Even this Abbott and NBA, they say that students should do projects which are solving the global problems. Engineering curriculum globally should be devised so that the engineer passing out of an engineering institution is able to understand the global problems and solve the problem. That is the agenda by the global organizations. So I hope that whatever initiative you have taken is a great initiative. Thank you for including me in this. I would be very happy to share my thoughts in days to come. But I only want that this should grow, and whatever little contribution we can make from our end, we'll be very happy to share. And I'd like to, as I was Sri Lanka madam from Dubai, some madam was speaking. I think we should have global collaborations also. This activity has, I was very happy to see that she was so nicely speaking about all these topics. And I think we need to have more collaboration and do something on a similar lines so that we educate people. There are around 8 billion people on planet Earth, and I think very few, hardly not even 1% are knowing about what is SDG also. So this is a huge agenda for all of us. Let us do or contribute whatever best we can do in this direction. Thank you, sir.
Sir, can you little bit about which university principal, which college, so that people.
Sir, I am Suresh D. Mane. I am principal at Dr. D.Y. Patil Pratishthan's College of Engineering, Salokanagar in Kolhapur, Maharashtra.
Okay.
So this is running Karnataka only. So I was principal in Karnataka for 6.5 years, and last 2.5 years I am principal. Prior to that, 20 years I was into Indian Railways. I took voluntary retirement to get into academics, finish my PhD, and now I am happily contributing my mind to the academy.
Yes, so thank you so much, sir. We will be joining together and we will work together, sir.
Yes,
so
sir,
you rightly pointed out, this today's session is to go through the report of SDG Index 2024. That is the idea. But we had a good session by goal number 1 to 17, and you given a lot of essence on that. In the positive note, a lot of works are going on. With go through all, we had come out with some action plan here. Can we go for a IGEN SDG best practice presentation inside our country, or like competitions like that? So the idea began.
Why not, sir? Why not?
Yes, sir. You told that some college, they have very best practice, in particular SDG. They will present it, and that the IGEN will be the platform to take this SDG best practice, and we can like a book we can publish. So that book will be useful for all other academic institutions to follow that. So that we will be the platform to take it forward to support the goal to be achieved like that. So that is a conclusion I want to have regarding this session, sir. Any session?
Sure, sir.
And IGEN also having a concept called IGEN Green Sustainability Partner Program, sir. It is a partner program. It is a 1-year partner, 2-year partner, like that. In this regard, I will talk to you later. We have 9 different principles. We can, in that one angle is SDG for college, like that. We will have a concept called again 9 implementation. How we can able to integrate SDG into the academic part. Presently, we have Presently, we have 10 partners. We are working on that, sir. We will come back to you regarding that. So I think since we have 6 or 7 questions, but the time is 9:40, so I would like to conclude here. So otherwise, it is not good that almost 2.5 hours over, like a movie. So very happy that Dr. Srividya and Dr. Leena James. So this all happening because of SDG 17 partnership for the goals, and we will have a final concluding note by each speaker. Then we can conclude. So I would like to have Leena James to the concluding remarks. Ma'am, you can unmute, ma'am.
I'm so sorry. I just wanted to say that it was a very fruitful discussion among all of us, and especially the people, those who are looking only on 1 or 2 SDGs. So we got a platform where to understand different SDGs, all 17 SDGs, and the targets of 169 targets, even though we couldn't touch on all that part. But definitely we got a glimpse of idea how this process is happening, how we can do it on that. These are the things definitely it will be eye-opening for the people, those who are participated, and even the speakers also. We got a lot of learning, unlearning and relearning, and with this definitely we have to move forward. I wanted to conclude that this would be a platform where we started with, even though we say that the partnership is the 17 goal, where we have to take together to achieve. Even when we say that a small simple step from our side, that makes a lot of ripple effects, and that's the way we have to move forward. And this should be an initiative, this should be a way we have to proceed further, and this is only a starting point, way more to work together and to achieve on that. So that should be our agenda, and that's the way we have to move forward. Thank you for the invite and giving a platform for me to speak my little knowledge and getting connected with the people, with my co-panelists and the participant. Thank you so much.
For be part of with us. In future also we will travel together and we can form a SDG team also, SDG academic team, SDG industry team, and we will be the bridge between the industry academy, so that that connection we can able to give lot of essence. So we will always go through the positive change. So we will not go for it is not happen. We will assume that 2030 we can able to achieve the SDGs. In line with that, we will work together. And I would like to invite Dr. Srividya Sukumar for the final concluding remarks.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And it's indeed a wonderful opportunity, as we all know, and we do agree that. It's a great idea of bringing people together on this platform to talk about SDGs. As you rightly mentioned in the video session, people do not know about exactly, they know about the SDGs, the 17 SDGs, probably they will be able to mention their names and everything, but still reading a report and having a very quintessential takeaways from the particular report which has been discussed so far is the key thing, and it's a great initiative, and congratulations to you, sir. As we all know, we live in a very increasingly complex world, and while the recent decades have been seen achieve unprecedented economic growth and make real progress on a number of key developmental issues, these kind of initiatives are the key things or the much needed things which will give rise to the swelling list of the environmental social burdens, sharing of all possibilities, sharing of knowledge, sharing of pathways of marching together, working in collaboration, such that we will make it more like a viable place to conduct business and to move forward exactly on the glorious pathway. One small note which I would like to dedicate for IGEN is that this kind of thought which has come to you really needs a genuine appreciation. As you sow, you reap. We can see that how proactive, and that it's a visionary thought that you have thought about sharing SDGs today and coming up with a program with your team. Basically, I can see Dr. Balmurugan sir sitting with you, and I don't know the name of the person who's there with you, IGEN, Niranjan. So it's a team effort of working in collaboration. And as Mr. Suresh was mentioning, like we should start working in collaboration as such. This particular thought that you're sowing has to reap its destiny. That's what. Sow a thought, reap an action. Will put forth an action. Sow an action, it becomes habit. Reap a habit. Sow a habit, it becomes our character. In the sense, we're not doing anything for somebody's sake. It is ourselves. It will bring a change in ourselves. It becomes our character. So a character, reap a destiny. That's that we are, with all thought, with all the objective that we have pulled in today on this platform, we should be able to take it forward. And hats off to you, sir. Thank you so much. As with the genuinity what you have brought up this platform today for all of in front of us, and definitely it will reach its optimum. It will reach its success through and through. And thank you so much. Congratulations to you and your team and the wonderful team. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Suresh. Thank you, Leena ma'am. Thanks for joining us. You have been such a wonderful co-host and co-panelist today along with us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So in line to that, we will be having maybe in the month of August, we will have the 17 speakers to present again the SDG index report. Like that, one session also we can have, so that we will get a 17 speakers, and so within these two sessions, we can able to give the information report to the people, particularly for the students. That is the thing. Now I would like to invite Bala to give the concluding remarks.
Yes, sir. It is good to see that the panelists have taken much of the time in explaining the things as well as giving the insight of the data, so which has been remarkably placed into the community. So that's where the partnership is going to occur. That is the one part, and we could also see that we always talk about think globally and act locally. So that's what going to happen when we data. We could see that. We could see Pradeep John as a blogger, Vijayadashini, the school kid who was thinking about the changes in the ironbox and everything. That is happening in the entire world. We could list out some people. This is happening here. So this is going to be the change management, means the statistics could really bring the change to the world where everyone would be changing, and by 2030 that would be the target for United Nations, but we can achieve it at the earliest. So as IGEN is doing a greater activity by connecting the kids, because we are working for this 1.5 degree to be reduced, means we need to connect at least 10,000 kids by next year, and these 10,000 in turn would be connecting 1 lakh students, means would achieve the target for the entire community in this area. So likewise to the world. So the billion would be increased to $1 trillion economy, means the $1 trillion economy which boosts up all this work to get it connected. So hats off to all the panelists as well as the participants, and thank you so much for the background team, so who has been very vital in connectivity as well as presenting these things, Google Forms and other things. Thank you so much for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bala, and so thank you so much for the people, those who are watching till with us, and you all will be receiving the certificate within 7 days. I think Dhanush, you can get.
Thank you, Dhanush.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Now I invite Dr. Ramesh sir to Dr. Ramesh, the director of IGEN, to give the vote of thanks.
So it's a great pleasure to attend this, and it was a wonderful session. So I'm very much thankful to the panelists, starting from Dr. L. Ramesh sir, Dr. Bala sir, and Dr. Srividya ma'am, and Leena ma'am, and Dr. Suresh sir. It was a wonderful session. So 17 SDG and 17 reports actually. So I think we need to have a one-by-one event for single SDGs actually. To be elaborately, we need to conclude the data, and we can able to understand the SDG reports for almost large from 2005 until date. We can able to collaborate, and we can able to bring up good data so that we can align ourselves in what way we are working actually. And each college and each member actually needs to know what is the exact scenario where we are, and we are very much in a pathetic condition, we can able to say, because in all 17 SDGs we are lagging, each and every country, and no one we have attained the complete SDG. At least 2030 is not too far, actually 6 years only apart, and we are still struggling to achieve even a single SDG in that 17 goal actually. So thank you all, and thank you audience for patiently listening, and thank you the backstage team for conducting this wonderful event. Thank you.
Thank you, Niranjan and Hari, Kabilan, and Dhanush. So thank you so much. Thank you all. So we'll have the next debate session with some another interesting topics. So that so this debate sessions, actually we thought of having a very strong debate by 7 or 8 questions. Since there is no time, we can't able to extend for that. Maybe we can have another one day for the sessions like that. Thank you all. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you all. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, team. Thank you.